Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat petang dan salam sejahtera. Yang berhormat Saudara Dato' Ahmad Degara Sugah, Timbalan Ketua Menteri serta Yang Berbahagia Datin. Yang berhormat Saudara Dato' Ahmad Wang Tengah Ali Hassan, seorang tu. Seterusnya yang berhormat Datuk Profesor Dr. Sim, yang berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Muhyiddin Ghani, Setiausaha Kerajaan Negeri, yang berhormat Saudara Datuk Len, Timbalan Pengerusi NREB, seterusnya yang berusaha Saudara Peter Sawal, Controller NRDB, yang berhormat Menteri Muda, yang berbahagia Datuk Abang Karim selaku Presiden SCCI, seterusnya pegawai-pegawai kanan kerajaan, ahli-ahli korporat, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang saya hormati sekalian. Pertama kali saya mengucap setinggi penghargaan dan terima kasih kepada pihak NREB kerana memberi saya penghormatan bersama-sama pada malam ini, dan seterusnya akan menyampaikan anugerah Chief Minister's Environmental Award 2015-2016 pada petang ini. I would like to express my appreciation to NREB for inviting me and giving me the honor to present the award this evening. I would also like to congratulate those who will get the awards. That's a reflection of the government's recognition to your effort to preserve our environment. Ladies and gentlemen, when you talk about environment in Sarawak, we would like to express our appreciation to Tuan Yang Terutama Tun Taib Mahmud. When he was the Chief Minister, he introduced the Natural Resources and Environmental Ordinance during his time. I still could remember that when we discussed in the Cabinet on this important ordinance, we found out at that time that Sarawak was one of the few states that really concentrated and giving priority to environmental conservation. We are the first state to introduce this ordinance. So much so that when the federal government introduced their own bill, we had our own until today. In that respect, we would like to express our appreciation to Tun Taib. And then my predecessor, who took over from Tun Taib, also gave priority to the preservation of environment. So much so that I still remember he said we must at all costs preserve our environment, particularly our forests, as well as establishment of national park and nature reserve. I think that was his priority, and as you know, consequent to that, he didn't want to issue any more licenses for timber license, especially the small one, the what we call TOL, and also he discouraged plantation. He doesn't give any more approval for converting land to oil palm plantation. And the late Tok Nan was very, very keen, really, to look after our environment. So I took over from Tok Nan. I can assure you, from Tun Taib to Tok Nan and myself, we still give priority to conservation and protection of our environment. That is why, while we still ban this concession, timber concession under the small timber, that is for us to cut timber in small timber concession. I'll also do the same thing. On top of that, I also want that those land that is meant for development, the issuance of approval to cut timber is through the process of open tender. This is to ensure that it is transparent dan kita tidak maulah mana kontraktor yang diberi dia boleh curi balak di sebelah. And this is very important, but of course we have to enforce our discipline on this. In this regard, I have requested the Forestry Department to enhance their enforcement division, even if to use the modern technology. Because I feel that whatever development that we want to do, priority must be to preserve our environment so that people can have a clean environment. Sarawak is very fortunate that we have leaders who are very passionate to make sure that Sarawak is clean. Sarawak has that space, and Sarawak has abundance of green in our state. And that is something which is unique to Sarawak. And therefore, our government, our development plan must be judiciously executed to make sure that there is balance between environment and the development that we are going to do. Ladies and gentlemen, I must congratulate REB for the effort to create awareness on the question of preservation of our environment. In this particular event, they have invited the private sector to come together to make sure that the public also knows the importance of environmental protection. And with this award, I'm sure it becomes an incentive for us not only to protect, but to upgrade technology to make sure that the environment is safe for the future generation. I must mention here also that we are going to migrate our economic policy from the traditional and conventional economic policy that is, as you know, extraction of timber and extraction, that may pollute our environment, to an economics that is more clean. That's why I have made my mind, and I have discussed with my colleagues in the cabinet that we have to migrate from the present economic policy to digital economy, to make sure that we try to add value to our resources by judiciously managing our resources. If not, our rivers can be polluted, our dam can be polluted, even our roads can be polluted. And in this particular case, we have to look at other countries where they have a good model for them to preserve and conserve the environment. I'm not saying here that I'm biased to Singapore, but I see Singapore as a very good approach in terms of conserving, conserve the water bodies. Even in housing estate, they make sure that they have streams to make sure that the water clean, at the same time to create green in their real estate. And this is Singapore city, although it's a city-state, but they have that sort of approach when they develop the city-state. And I think that is a good model. I'm sure most of you have been to Singapore, and some of you have been briefed by Singapore government on this. I think for us, at least we can start in Kuching for a start, to make Kuching clean, green, and also friendly to the citizens. If Kuching can be a model, I'm sure the other towns and cities in Sarawak can be converted just like Singapore. Somebody was saying that I'm too pro-Singapore. It's not a question of patriotism here. It's a question of trying to get the right model that can help us. And in that respect, the moment we are having that top standard, then people will come over here to witness at the same time to enjoy facilities that we have. I have been looking after tourism twice already. And if you want really to promote tourism, people wanted to see that they can spend their time in an environment that is very conducive for them to rest and then to recuperate. And this is something that we have. More so, we have an added value in terms of our culture. And that is one of the attractions that is quite unique in Sarawak. So if you have a clean environment with good, very attractive culture that people want to share, definitely people will come over here. And that has a very positive impact on our overall services industry and also our economy. So we may lose our revenue from timber, but we gain from the services sector. And there are ways for us to get the money back. You have to be creative, cari levy where you can impose levy in order for them to enjoy when they come over here, but they have to pay something. We can impose certain levy for the revenue loss in our timber. But the green, the jungle must be there because people want to see jungle and want to see green. And that is something which is natural. I was in Singapore recently and I saw a lot of buses. They want to see this tropical forest, so-called tropical garden in Singapore. Kalau tengok pun tidak apa juga, semua pokok-pokok yang kecil-kecil saja. But people want to see a real green jungle. They don't mind to pay. Singapore we have to pay near that particularly tropical garden. And that is quite artificial. But yet people flock of buses coming over to see that tropical garden. Mind you, if we have one dekat Semenggok ke Bako National Park, it's a real garden. And they want to go to the interior, it's a real jungle. And this is what we have to protect. Of course, there are school of thought, opposite school of thought, say we may lose revenue. But I think we have to be creative in this. In order to get revenue in spite of the fact that we don't cut our trees. Our trees is very precious. Ladies and gentlemen, Finally, I just want to share with you my experience. When I was asked by Tun Taib to become Minister of Industrial Development, the first place that I went was Scandinavian countries. And then Dato' Amang Tengah was with me at that time, 1988. We went to Finland. Finland originally, the forested area was not that big. But the moment they plant pines, forested pines, they replant, the acreage of green area in Finland was increased. And then we went to one plywood company. They were only, I think Awang Tengah could remember, there were only 5 persons working in that particular company. One is to load the logs. The other one is to see the log at the immediate machine, the line. Number 3 is separation of the material. Number 4 is to log to another area. Number 5 is to store it. And they produce plywood from pine, including the peeling. The first one is to see the peeling process. And that was in 1988 in Finland. I think if the Finnish can do it, I'm sure Sarawakian also can do it. Provided, of course, we had that expertise and the will to learn, at the same time to adopt this new method. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like once again to thank NREB for organizing this award, and I'm sure that the awareness of environment protection will be one of the top priority for us to instill among Sarawakians, particularly the young Sarawakians. And with that, I'm sure Sarawak will be a place full of green, clean, and also people are also clean also. Kalau orang buang uras pun no point also. There must be a culture among the people to protect our environment. With that, once again, thank you very much. And I wish to congratulate the winners of this award. And I hope that they will continue to play their part for us to have a sustainable environment in Sarawak. Thank you very much.